Colorado shooting situation. This is another club.
Oh, yep,
Colorado, bruh.
the LGBT club. I seen
Oh
that too. That was
Lord,
about to
is
be
that
my
what it
next thing.
was? So,
It's an
oh,
LGBT.
that's why I saw that earlier too. I bypassed all of this stuff. Like I had no time to like look at or read anything or anything else. But I saw two things. I bypassed the video and I saw two guys. Like I think they were the club owners or something like that. And there was the flag that was in front of them, but I bypassed it. Okay.
Pause that real quick. So people nowadays really have to figure out who they can get close with, because just like uh that lady in Mexico,
But
she thought she was close with her
but
friends.
that's the thing. That's the thing about that though. You don't want to live your life like that. But it is very important. You are correct. People need to know who they can trust. That is very true. But people don't want to have to live their lives like that. Now, I know that we hear about this a ton. These types of things a ton. It's the US. That's the way it is.
Mm,
The problem though is that in all honesty, even though it happens way too much, it's actually less significant in a percentage wise based on the population. So people really don't think that it'll ever happen to them.
mm.
Psychologically, people are like, they meet somebody. Most people are automatically like standoffish, but then once that person gets any a foot into the circle, it's like, fuck it, all right, we cool. That's it. We're good. Of course, that's how you get robbed sometimes. Motherfuckers like stab you in the back, find out they cheating, or worse. So no matter how much you tell people to be that way, it goes
Hmm.
against the greater idealism that a lot of people want to have nowadays, which I don't want to say is wrong, but that idealism is, oh, we should be open and kind and caring to anyone and everyone and trust and do this, that, and the other to, allow people to be a part of their lives. Most people don't even live by that shit. But when it comes to having somebody in your circle that you party with, hang out with, nobody really thinks about it in that manner. But you do have to be careful. But it's just the fact that no matter how much you say it, it's not going to change because that's just how people are. All right, let's see what's up with this real quick.
Glenn, what must they know? What must prosecutors know to say this was a hate crime? Are you surprised?
I want to know what happened, not about that aspect of it yet. Club Q patrons stopped the gunman in Colorado Springs. Okay, let me say this. This is what I was going to say. When I was in Colorado last year, in fact, last year around this time, fuck, I was there last year this time. I was actually in both Aurora and Denver and a couple of other surrounding little cities. And while I was there, I think during the video I made and everything else, I spoke about uh, the history museum that I had stopped at and all that stuff. But right across the street was the actual AMC where the whole situation with Dark Knight, when the Dark Knight came out. If you guys don't remember, all the people that were shot in the theater and everything else happened there. Colorado has a bad history of this type of shit.
Bad history.
You're echoing. It's just like, I don't know.
Pulled
That
it up.
just made me think that. God damn it! I
What
went to the
mu-
same video again. Hang on. Let's try this one.
But we begin in Colorado, where one of the people who helped stop the deadly rampage at an LGBTQ plus nightclub last weekend is sharing his story of courage. Police say Richard Fierro saved lives when the U.S. Army veteran tackled and pinned down the alleged gunman. 5 people were killed at
Still
Club
got the
Q
same
on
mentality.
Saturday. They've been
he gonna jump in
identified
there and do what he
as
got to
Kelly
do.
Loving, Daniel Aston, Derek Rump, Ashley Paw, and Raymond Green Vance. The suspect, Anderson Lee Aldridge, is still in the hospital, arrested on 5 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of bias-motivated crime.
Done.
Danya Backus is in
Bias-motivated.
Colorado
That's
Springs
gonna turn
with
into
more
hate
on
crime.
how the shooter was stopped. Danya, it's quite a story. Good morning.
It is quite a story. Good morning to you, Elaine. Richard Fierro says his military instincts kicked in and he was focused on eliminating the threat. Though he is being held a hero, he says he wishes he could have done more to protect the 5 people who were killed, including his daughter's boyfriend.
I'm not a hero, I'm just some dude.
Richard Fierro didn't think twice about stopping the gunman who opened fire in the middle of a Colorado Springs nightclub Saturday night.
I hit him with the gun, his gun, not mine. I grabbed it and I hit him with it. I kept hitting with it.
The U.S. Army veteran who was at the club with his wife, daughter, and her boyfriend, Raymond Green Vance, says he wanted to save his family.
That family was, at that time, everybody in that room.
Vance, along with Ashley Paw, Kelly Loving, and bartenders Derek Rump and Daniel Aston were killed.
My daughter got to spend her last day with him, happy.
5 crosses have been placed here at the growing memorial outside of Club Q. The city's mayor says he wants his community to not be defined by the tragedy, but by the response.
Too often, society loses track of the victims of these sad and tragic.
Hold on.
Be your true, authentic self.
The suspect, 22-year-old Anderson Lee Aldrich, who remains hospitalized. He faces 5 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of committing a bias-motivated crime.
Okay, what I really wanted was I'm gonna have to do that later, pull like the full breakdown of how it all went down, like kind of from start to finish. But here's the situation, and they're calling it a biasly motivated crime, which is they're going to get charged with a hate crime. That's the I guess the PC way of saying, well, we're looking at it like that, but no, it's going to get switched to a hate crime. That dude is going to jail forever. I don't think Colorado has no, they don't. I don't think they have a DP. And I meant death penalty, not the other DP, for all you nasty motherfuckers out there. But anyway, this is something that happens. Again, it's on the scale of the masses and everything else. It may be a small percentage of, but it's something that's been happening for a very, very long time. You can go back to the 80s and 90s with the gay community, different things like that. The LGBTQ plus community, I look at it in that same aspect when these types of things happen. It's a hate crime. It was taken out in 2020. Okay. All right. Out of Colorado. Okay. It is a hate crime, because what you're doing is essentially going in and you're taking out your anger, your frustration, your idealism, and things of that nature on these individuals because they're different than you. You don't have to agree with their lifestyle. You don't. That's perfectly fine. You also don't have to hate them. I understand that a lot of times, and especially more and more nowadays, with the way that things are being changed, and so much of that idealism is being brought into mainstream media and everything else, people do not appreciate it on the level of it interjecting with their children's growth and understanding of what sexuality is, etc. But let people live their lives. Let people live their lifestyles. And what's really fucked up too to think about, the whole situation is fucked up. But what's crazy is this. Some of the people who were in that bar were just as heterosexual as he was, or if he is. I mean, it could be a self-deprecating situation at this point. If you don't understand what that means, it could be them having some loathsome hatred towards their own identity, because they don't understand who and what they are, or they don't want to come out. It happens. It happens a lot. It happens a lot when it comes to those types of crimes. But just to assume that this individual was heterosexual, all right? And they just went in and did this for the sheer hatred of what that place stood for, what the individuals in there stood for, what their lifestyle was. You guys know how I am. I'll talk about anything. I'll crack a joke on damn near anything. But the one thing I won't do is hate someone because of who they choose to be sexually. I've always had a rule with it. Known gay people, lesbians, someone who's like I treat her like a sister. Fuck. Forever. She's a lesbian. Other best friends, lesbians. A couple of friends who are gay. A couple of friends who are trans. And they are part of family. Okay? My best friend who I call family to me. They're part of that family. I have one simple rule when it comes to things like that. Look, don't try and push shit on me. I've been to, there's a club out here. I will never forget this. I made a joke about it all the time. Thank you, Deadlock. Same to you. I'm going to say that in a minute to everybody, too. But I made a joke about it all the time. So years ago, there was this girl that I was fucking with. Her best friend's brother was gay. Dude used to come into the club that I worked for and did marketing and shit like that for all the time. Fucking hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And he would always give me shit too. He's like, all these girls like, what the fuck, and this, that, and the other. He's like, but me, and I said, boy, you better stop that shit right now. Like, whatever. But one night, this other girl that I was like messing with at that point in time, she's like, let's go out to this spot. I had never been to this spot before. Honestly, at that point in time, I didn't even know like that area too well. My homeboy hit me up. He's like, yeah, fuck it, go. Because her best friend, he was fucking around with her. He was dating her. He's like, let's all go, double date, whatever. All right, cool. We go in. We walk in, all right? Music's playing and shit. I'm like, it's really weird. I grew up around electronica, what most of you know as EDM, shit like that. Trance and progressive and house and all of that different shit. Overseas, we listen to it. That's what it was. Where I'm from, like literally, one of the partyingest places on this planet is the island right beneath. All right. Walk in this club, that's going on, whatever. We having a good time. We having drinks and shit like that. I go to the bathroom, taking a piss. Now, there's no divider at the urinals. Now, as a guy, we all know the rules. You go in the bathroom, look fucking straight forward. I mean, you might, if you're lit, you might lean your head up against the wall, but you look straight forward. You're not looking left and right, especially when there's no goddamn divider. All right, sitting there taking a piss. Next thing I know, somebody else had come in, and all I hear is, And I said, the fuck? I tried to put my junk. I'm looking. This nigga is straight up like, And I'm like, nah, bro. What the fuck? Wash my hands, walk out. And then the other girl who had the friend with the gay brother, those two are there. He walks up to me, and I'm not making fun of him, anything like that. I'm just showing what his voice was like. He goes, Chris, what are you doing here? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, you don't know what this place is? And I'm like, the fuck? He goes, go look around. Like, what the fuck? So I'm walking, and I told her, I'm like, I'm with Shorty over here. He's like, okay, but just check it out. I'm like, okay. I'm looking, I said, and that's the thing. Normally, when I walk into anywhere, I'm always, first off, I'm checking the whole scene. I'm looking at the doors, this, that, and the other, like, everything that I have to deal with if anything pops off in that spot. I knew there was a huge entrance to the back that led outside that had a patio, all this other shit. I had already put that together, but I really wasn't looking at the people. And what I started noticing is I'm listening to the music, then I start seeing these girls and they were rubbing each other's butt. And I was like, cheek on cheek, oh shit. And then I look over and two dudes is dancing together, and then there's another two dudes dancing together, and these two dudes is real close to each other. Wait, that nigga wearing booty shorts right now? Oh, I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. And it was just a joke or whatever. And I'm like, oh, so y'all couldn't tell me? And they're just like, bruh, we didn't know if you coming down. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, whatever. But essentially, at the same time, there's bunches of straight people that are there because the place just fucking had the best goddamn drinks, the best drink prices, and it was live in that bitch. And I know that my best friend and his wife and their family go in there, and so on and so forth. My point being that people make these assumptions about places like that it's strictly these types of individuals. No, anyone and everyone can be in there. It's still not right for you to go and shoot the goddamn place up, even if it were just these individuals you don't like because you don't understand them or because you have some form of animosity or hatred towards them even. This type of shit has really got to stop. I mean, and what I really want to know and what I'm going to look into later is how unhinged was this individual? What was his background? What was his history? See, I'm not the type of person to say take guns away from people. Oh, it's my Second Amendment right, like everything else. I get that. I get it. But god damn it, how many times has shit like this happened? And if we look at it year over year over year, again, yes, it is a small percentage based on the other deaths that happened throughout, but you can compile all that shit together. But year over year, the numbers have increased. And now it's going back to this whole, it's becoming more prevalent that these forms of hate crimes are happening all over again. 80s and 90s, absolutely insane. Insane. The way that the gay community was getting fucked up. Walking down the street, bow, just like out of just left field. Knockout, stomped out, beat down, especially if you were in like the Midwest and different places like that side of the world. Shit. But it's ridiculous. All it is, like, you can't catch gay. You can't catch lesbian. You can't catch trans. You can't catch bi. You can't catch these fucking things. You can call it these people's choices. So be it. So be it. I won't argue that against you. But the problem with it is when you go off and you commit heinous acts upon individuals who are just wanting to live their lives. Though different from yours, they're still just trying to live their lives. That's it. Do you want to know what's funny? Today, someone did a drive-by to a Playboy Bunny Club in broad daylight and nobody got hurt. What the fuck? 17 people were injured by gunshots while another victim sustained other injuries. Yo, this is... there's nothing... Here's the problem. I mean, we talk about this, I think, just to discuss it and, try and build some kind of understanding of it and, hash it out and just get opinions and everything else. But the fact is, there's nothing that's going to change these types of situations. People are people, and they do crazy things. They justify it to themselves, but on the greater spectrum of it, with no real reason. It's truly shitty. It's truly shitty because nothing like this has to happen. It doesn't. It's almost like this mentality. Like, I look at people like that, they're going in with a form of an extermination agenda. Wipe these people the fuck out. Why? Just because they're different from you? I don't know, you guys. I hope we don't see craziness like this. I mean, crazy shit happens every day. People die every day, B. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. But usually around the holidays is where the shit gets out of fucking hand. Out of hand. I just hope that all of you all on Thursday, when you're with your family and friends, appreciate it. Have an amazing time. Are very safe. Happy early Thanksgiving to all of you who, whether or not you're going to be on the stream or whether or not I'm even going to be on stream on that day. Again, I'm still not sure. But I do have to go ahead and end this one because I have to get out of here. I'm technically late right now. But yo, if you're watching this later on, more than likely I'm gonna upload a portion of this to YouTube. And if you want to leave comments, please go ahead and do so. Let me know what you think on this situation here and